Mile offshore, I can see the lamp in your hands, beckoning me. I said, need a safe place to land. Linda, mile offshore, guess I'm home, my friend. Catch a full night of sleep again. I'm not going back out again, my friend. Mile offshore, it looks like 73. So little has changed, this one pub village I see. The windows glisten, the hills are green. I hear your voice calling out to me. From here we both could be 17 again. Here your mother and father are gone. I say I'm not the type I can depend upon. Looking back from this line of sight, I can only say your mother and father were right. Mile offshore, the dolphins dance by my hull, circling me to the lilting song of the gull. I know that's what I've been sailing toward. When I tie down, you can climb aboard for a little dance. It's a sweet reward to ourselves. From my long, clear history of selfish deeds, I come home with only apologies. There's no blame if you turn your back. To hell with that, you're out there waiting for me. Mile offshore, I can see the lamp in your hand, beckoning me, said I need a safe place to land. Mile offshore, guess I'm home, my friend. Catch a full night of sleep again. I'm not going back out again, my friend. Mile offshore, guess I'm home, my friend. Catch a full night of sleep again. I'm not going back out again, my friend. Mile offshore, I can see the lamp in your hands. Oh, 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 oh. Mile offshore, guess I found a soft place to land. Oh, 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 oh. Mile offshore, oh, oh, oh. Mile offshore, oh, oh, oh. Mile offshore, oh, oh, oh. Good evening and welcome to 2022, my live stream for those who are, thank you Linda, those who are left behind. Basically the songs that didn't get played Friday night. I didn't do the 12 and a half hours this time that I did last time. I went 9 hours, and actually about 5 a.m. our time, it was just me for about an hour. And I was, and when I said in my promo earlier in the day, you know, that anybody that was awake for my whole live stream would know that I didn't play all my songs. Well, nobody was awake. Nobody awake for my entire live stream, including me. There were moments playing the guitar, I was able to stay on my feet and stay awake, but there were moments when I was at the piano where I don't know where I was. I mean, I fell fast asleep, I think, at some points, and it was just me. I will say, Terry, if he comes on later, Terry came in at for about the last, I don't know, hour, maybe half hour, 20 minutes, whatever it was. I don't have much recollection about the latter hours of that whole ordeal, but I went 9 hours. I went till 7 a.m. So today, And I try to retrace, you know, since I did them in the order that I practiced them, it should be easy to know which ones I didn't do. But, you know, I don't remember half of what happened Friday night. I don't remember what I played. I've kind of looked at some of the video of it, but 9 hours of video of me. And I don't drink, you know, I don't drink, but God, it sure looked like it. It sure looked like it. So to be sure that these are the songs that didn't get played on Friday night, I'm going way back to the last sets, you know, the final sets that I always practice every week. So because I know I didn't get that far. And I may do this another week and maybe do it 2 more weeks even. I think I got through about half of my songs Friday night. There was some dialogue, you know, me talking. Most of it was incomprehensible at that time of night. And like I say, I don't drink, but it sure looked that way. I asked 7 of my closest friends, would anyone go back again? Do it over with the wisdom gleaned from worlds we've discovered since then. How many would agree with me, embrace the challenge eagerly? Then it got so quiet, I could easily hear myself breathe. Does anyone remember how it was? Is it something you can share with us? I've been trying to resurrect the dead with 7 of my closest friends. Oh, oh, 7 of my closest friends. We swore we wouldn't disappear for reunions every year. Every season we would gather here where all of our passions rehearse song. But mortgages and jealous wives laid claim to our respective lives. Seasons became decades till we finally succeeded to unite. Am I the only one who really understood? It could never be that good. Oh, oh, oh. I've been trying to resurrect the dead with 7 of my closest friends. Oh, oh, 7 of my closest friends. Anyone remember how it was? Is it something you can share with us? Am I the only one who really understood? It could never be that good. Oh, oh, oh. I've been trying to resurrect the dead with 7 of my closest friends. Oh, oh, 7 of my closest friends. I've been trying to resurrect the dead with 7 of my closest friends. Oh, 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 7 of my closest friends. I've been trying to resurrect the dead with 7 of my closest friends. Oh, oh, oh. Seven of my closest friends. I think I wrote that like in 1991, sometime around then. So, and a lot of these songs, you know, you will have heard before. It's not that they're not songs. Some of them aren't songs. That one I don't play very much, but not that they're songs that I don't play a lot. It's just that in the routine of practicing them, they're the ones that I will do usually on Wednesday or Thursday near the end of the week. And how's the order? You know, I play them the same order every week, so I don't forget to practice something. And it makes it easier, especially when I do something like I did Friday night, where you just go on automatic pilot. And that's why I don't remember. You know, I know what songs I stopped on, and I'm assuming that I played all the ones that I usually play before that, but I have no recollection of doing that. But I think Linda will recognize this one. This is a message song I wrote right about that same time. I look in the mirror day after day. I put on a hat I feel younger right away. I comb it out longer, just next to the part. Comb it over the top and I feel so very smart. I'm getting older, I cannot deny. But that doesn't stop me from always asking why. I'll have no hair by the time I'm 39. I'll have no hair by the time I'm 39. I'd have a few words for my grandpa. Yes, I would, if he had not gone and died when I was only 5. Well, I've tried New Generation. Yes, I've tried Rogaine. I tried doing a rain dance to save my thinning mane. I load up on vitamins, A, B, and E, B, pollen, and calcium. Nothing works for me. I invented a milkshake, uses raw eggs and bread. Put hair on my stomach wall, but nothing on my head. I'll have no hair by the time I'm 39. I'll have no hair by the time I'm 39. I'd have a few words for my grandpa. Yes, I would, if he had not gone and died when I was only 5. Yeah, you've heard that. I don't play it as much as I used to, because this is the one people get up and leave during. I don't know why. I try not to insult my audience too much. I'll have no hair by the time I'm 39. I'll have no hair by the time I'm 39. I'd have a few words for my grandpa. Yes, I would, if he had not gone and died when I was only 5. Of course, that reference to my grandfather has to do with that whole theory of male pattern baldness, you know. Skips a generation, you know. My grandfather was completely bald. He only had one leg, too. He got run over by a trolley car when he was 9 years old, and had a big lawsuit, actually, big famous lawsuit, and paid his way through dental school, kept him out of World War I and everything else, but spent his whole life basically with a wooden leg, so... I was sick. I was 7 when he passed away, but his lawyer, actually, interestingly enough, his lawyer in the lawsuit against the Worcester Consolidated Railway that owned the trolley cars that ran over his leg was, I can't remember his name now, but he ended up being the judge in the Sacco and Vanzetti trial, and he became so infamous that there were I don't know, it was Felix Frankfurter or some Brandeis, one of the great, U.S. Supreme Court justices, one of the famous ones, said that his handling of the case was probably the worst that he'd ever seen in any case in history. It was just so one-sided, and there's always that question of whether Sacco and Vanzetti were actually guilty, but this lawyer, my grandfather's lawyer, when he became a judge, he was so biased against anarchists that he couldn't give him a fair trial, and he spent the rest of his life living in protection of the marshals, I guess. At one point, 3 years before he died, I guess they blew up his house, and so he was living in a house provided by the marshals for the rest of his life. But anyway, as you can see, I wrote that in 1991, so that song is 31 years old now, and didn't 100% come true. The next one is one you've heard because I played it last week for my job end of the year job fair, and it has to do with one of the occupations that people don't flock to like they used to. That's a good verb, actually, flock. But a song I wrote for the women that surrounded me growing up. brought up into Catholic schools by the Sisters of Humility, where there weren't no rules about hitting little boys like me. I learned to take a punch. I guess I took a bunch, but I never fought a man who could hit me with those hands of speed. They were ninja warriors, was it? Non-food the sisters used, they squeeze you till you couldn't breathe. They made nunchucks out of rosary beads. They were vicious, sir, the ninja warriors. They used to run a traffic count by the convent down on 16th Street. A slope rate of Lincolns, Cadillacs, and LTDs. A little boy like me, sheltered and naive, was putty in the hands of the Sisters of Humility. They were ninja warriors, was it? Non-food the sisters used, they squeeze you till you couldn't breathe. They made nunchucks out of rosary beads. They were vicious, sir, the ninja warriors. Look at this beat red scar in the shape of a horseshoe. I got that one on graduation day. They met me in the field outside the gym. Triple team me. I don't name names, revenge is not permitted. Sister Mary Frances said, forget it, son. Warriors, was it? Non-food the sisters used, they squeeze you till you couldn't breathe. They made nunchucks out of rosary beads. They were vicious, sir, them ninja warriors. Ninja warriors. Grew up from the time I was in the 3rd grade when we moved here from Massachusetts back in November of 1964 until really out of high school, back 10 years later, raised by nuns. Some people are in mythology, raised by wolves. There were people that were captured by the pioneers, captured by the Native American tribes and raised by, as they used to say back in the days, raised by Indians. And then there's me raised by nuns. So that's my tribute to the nuns. Next one, a little ballad. I don't play this one very much. I kind of like it, but it's sometime in the early 90s I wrote this. I got over you 4, maybe 5 years ago. Other loves have stopped the flow of my tears. I don't sit home alone, but there's still the matter of my dreams. No one's kiss has wiped them clean. Still the matter of my dreams. Maybe 1987. I'm alone with you, laughing at silly jokes. I never did get tired of hearing the words. They were my spring of hope, but they're still the matter of my dreams. That's where I take you home with me, still the matter of my dreams. You could leave taking everything I own, but my love won't go if you don't understand. That's 2 of us. I said that's 2 of us. You could leave taking everything I own, but my love won't go if you don't understand. That's 2 of us. I said that's 2 of us. I got over you 4, maybe 5 years ago. Other loves have stopped the flow of my tears. I don't sit home alone, but there's still the matter of my dreams. No one's kiss has wiped them clean, still the matter of my dreams. Still the matter of my dreams. So if I wrote that in 1987, then Betty White would have been the age then that I am now, just to put things in perspective. You've heard this one. About a little place down on 4th Street between Walnut and Court. It's the Lift now, but back in the 80s it was something different. Maybe 90s. Dark deals at Darrow's Courthouse Pub. Men come in pinstripe suits and slip out wearing only the cloaks of darkness on their backs. Don't ask about that. Dark deals at Darrow's Courthouse Pub. There is no 9 to 5. At 4th Street there is always the stench of business in the mist. Don't ask about this. Dark deals at Darrow's Courthouse Pub. There is one empty booth, but that booth is reserved for the man in shades who just walked in. Don't ask about him. Dark deals at Darrow's Courthouse Pub. The deal is you don't ask to meet the skeletons trapped between these hardwood floors, and I won't ask for yours. Dark deals at Darrow's Courthouse Pub. Now it's the Lift. It's the Lift. Actually, one of my new Facebook friends came out of nowhere. A woman who lives in Cedar Rapids. Turns out she used to be one of the bartenders at Darrow's, and now she's married to a guy who's running for Lynn County Attorney. Actually, I may meet him Friday actually, because my good friend who is the head public defender in Cedar Rapids is retiring on Friday, so I'm planning, if weather holds out, I'm planning to drive up there and say hello to my old friend. This one I always practice after that one. I play it every once in a while. Watch this. I'm gonna be the fool who comes to rescue her from the black hole of her life. For everything I offer her, you think she'd thank me, brother, that's for sure. But that's so far from right. There's this horrible sense of never. Each time I catch her eye, this horrible sense of never. Hello, what's that? Goodbye. Who's that? I can't count all the ways he's gonna dump on her, but I can't tell her that, and it doesn't have to be that way. I tell her that my door is open every day, but all she does is laugh. There's this horrible sense of never. Each time I catch her eye, this horrible sense of never. Hello, what's that? Goodbye. I open up my heart, she snaps, whatever. Then I mention taking it all outside. She tells me that my silence was so much better. All right, you win. Bye-bye. There's this horrible sense of never. Each time I catch her eye, this horrible sense of never. What's that? Goodbye. This horrible sense of never. Now here's an old one, and you've heard this one before because I play this one quite a bit, but song I wrote in November, or late at least, in 1976. Thank you, Linda. Just before I went out on the road with Baby Lester and the Buggy Bumpers. So I really have a lot of affection for this song. I actually rewrote it in the late 80s sometime, about 10 years later. If you need a reason to miss me, think about that first spring day. We shared a long brisk walk to the Little House Cafe. Had a pleasant talk while a jazz guitarist played. It all seems like fantasy now. If you need a reason to miss me, where did I go wrong? I'll never understand till the memory is gone. If you need a reason to miss me, think about the next 3 years. When I drive by at dawn, you'd be waiting on the stairs. With a smile to keep us warm. God, it never disappeared. Then one day you stop being there. If you need a reason to miss me, where did I go wrong? I'll never understand till the memory is gone. All I asked of you was your time all along. Why can't you just listen to my song? If you need a reason to miss me, the dream is truly gone. Why can't you just listen to my song? It all seems like fantasy now. If you need a reason to miss me, how do I go on? I'll never understand till the memory is gone. I'll never understand. I'll never understand till the memory is gone. If you need a reason to miss me. So that one's 45 years old. So the next two actually are songs that I wrote back in 1997 when I was recruited by Bob Rigg to play with his band, Goodnight Dallas. And we played maybe a half dozen of my songs, but these are the two that basically I wrote just to play with the band. Actually, Doc Deals at Darrow's Courthouse Pub. That was another one because that was one of the places that we played. Just a minute. If I can read your. That's right, older than anybody in this room except me. That's all 45 years old. So Bob started this band, Goodnight Dallas, and we played about a half dozen of my songs, including Dark Deals at Darrow's Courthouse Pub, because that was one of the places we played. But when we first started the band, I wrote two songs just right at the very start. This is one of them. We always played this one. And consequently, I'd hardly ever play it anymore because it's just like, George Harrison playing Beatles songs, Of course, George Harrison's gone, but... I got a message on the internet, took me half an hour to download. It came from some lonely stranger in a room somewhere. Took me hours to decode. Said I'd love the opportunity, share a moment of my time. Told me all the things she'd do to me, sent a shiver up my spine. I'm in cyber limbo, baby. Cyber limbo now. She could be a 5-star goddess with a mouse in her hand, or a deadly little virus loading down. Sent a message to the systems boys asking how to protect myself from harm. They said total abstinence is all that you can do, and there is cause to be alarmed. I said thanks for the opinion, boys. Away the thrills against the risks. Said it sounds like you're considering a move that could just neutralize your disc. I'm in cyber limbo, baby. cyber limbo now. She could be a 5-star goddess with a mouse in her hand, or a deadly little virus loading down. Just a slave to curiosity, now I'm seated at the board. My outbound message on the screen in front of me. Do I dare walk through that door? I'm in cyber limbo, baby. Cyber limbo now. She could be a 5-star goddess with a mouse in her hand, or a deadly little virus loading down. I'm in cyber limbo, baby. Cyber limbo now. She could be a 5-star goddess with a mouse in her hand, or a deadly little virus loading down. Cyber limbo. You know, that song has some historical significance because I wrote that just about the same time I started using voicemail. You know, we forget about that, you know, in our younger, if you're as old as me, and nobody's as old as me, but if you were, in our younger days, we didn't have computers and voicemail and the internet and stuff. So the whole idea that we could communicate with people using computers, you know, that was bizarre. And so when I started using computers to communicate, I wrote that song, Cyber Limbo. So, you know, people could identify with it back then, you know. Back when they were using the IBM Selectric typewriters, and that was the modern technology and everything else. Cyber Limbo, that was a big hit. Well, it wasn't a big hit, but it's as big a hit as anything I've written, you know. This next one was the other one we played. And everybody thought it was about Wes Dunbar. And I've got an ego the size of Mexico, you know, because Wes, you know, for one thing, he was a lawyer. He worked with us. He opened a taqueria. His wife was of Mexican-American descent, and they opened a taqueria. So everybody thought it was about him. And there's a line in it that says, I've got a Porsche and a Beamer and a 30-foot cruiser. Well, he had a Porsche. I don't know, but he was a big man. So everybody thought it was about him. But what it was really about, and don't tell anybody I said this, it was about, you know, I was going into this band with Bob Rigg. You know, me and Bob Rigg, you know, two of the biggest egos you can imagine. And so this song is really about being in a band with Bob Rigg. It wasn't about Wes, but I got an ego the size of Mexico. You got an ego that's just as big, you know. When we get together, we're at each other's throats. But we never get together because we both got an ego the size of Mexico. Was a first-round pick in the backfield. 7 years later in a penthouse office closing big deals. I got a Porsche and a Beamer and a 30-foot cruiser. That ain't the world of a Southside loser. I'm a self-made man, a self-made man. I got an ego the size of Mexico. You got an ego that's just as big, you know. When we get together, we're at each other's throats. But we never get together because we both got an ego the size of Mexico. You want to know about the woman at the back door? Well, follow me around and you'll see 5 more. Well, I'll admit I'm not that good looking, but I still got romance and damn good cooking. I'm a self-made man, a self-made man. I got an ego the size of Mexico. You got an ego that's just as big, you know. When we get together, we're at each other's throats. But we never get together because we both got an ego the size of Mexico. In the corner of your mind, you want to shoot me. A little lesson in humility might suit me. Well, if you pull the trigger, I'll be pushing up daisies, but I can't hide the talent that the good Lord gave me. I'm an honest man, an honest man. Oh, I got an ego the size of Mexico. You got an ego that's just as big, you know. When we get together, we're at each other's throats. But we never get together because we both got an ego the size of Mexico. Well, I got an ego the size of Mexico. You got an ego the size of Mexico. We both got an ego the size of Mexico. I got an ego the size of Mexico. When you could start a band with Bob Rigg, you write a song called I've Got an Ego the Size of Mexico. You got an ego that's just as big, you know. We get together, we're at each other's throats, but we never get together because we both got an ego the size of Mexico. Okay, I'm going to do this one because this is the one I always practice next. I got to have the right voice for this song, and I don't know if I do right now. It's a little ballad I wrote. Actually, I wrote the refrain as a poem way back when I was an undergraduate, I think, or at least early in graduate school. And several times I tried to put it into a song, turn it into a song. Ultimately, in the early 90s, I sat down at the piano and wrote what I've considered to be a good enough song for this for the refrain. But I got to have the right voice to do this song. Otherwise, it sounds weak and pitiful. I don't want to sound weak and pitiful. But I guess when you're 65 years old, you can be weak and pitiful. Another late night in a city. I was sulking in a chair. Just a man in his self-pity. No one else would find us there. I constructed my own prison. There was nothing I could do but drink until the ache was gone. Think my good thoughts about you. I felt something on my shoulder. All of a sudden you were there. You kissed me on the forehead. And then you vanished in the air. The best part of the dream is that final fleeting scene before the morning flings us back to harsh reality. If you and I could freeze like photos in a magazine, we'd have never reached the morning. Just the best part of the dream. I set my glasses on the table, stared blankly at the wall, like I could doze back to the same place, as if a dream could be recalled. But the hint of early sunlight blocked the path to my return. So I wallowed in what couldn't be, at least where daylight is concerned. The best part of the dream is that final fleeting scene before the morning flings us back to harsh reality. If you and I could freeze like photos in a magazine, we'd have never reached the morning. Just the best part of the dream. Did you know that you were here with me last night? Just after midnight, through the early morning light. And I don't want to see you if you're not the one who kissed me in the night. Oh, 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 you kissed me in the night. Oh, 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 oh. The best part of a dream is that final fleeting scene before the morning flings us back to harsh reality. If you and I could freeze like photos in a magazine, we'd have never reached the morning. Just the best part of the dream. Oh, 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 oh. We'd have never reached the morning. Just the best part of the dream. Oh, 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 oh. We'd have never reached the morning. Just the best part of the dream. Yeah, well, maybe I'm getting too old for that one, but the best part of the dream is that final fleeting scene. You know, 10 years ago when I was playing at the Greenwood, I could still hit those. Thank you, Linda. I could still hit those high notes, you know, and everything. I could play that. I tried it. Now, back when I played at the Greenwood, I didn't have any way to know what time it was, so I needed to know when to stop it. There were times until Bill told me to stop. There were times I was playing 5-hour sets at the Greenwood, but I needed to know what time it was so I'd know when to, you know, I could stop at some point. And so I got a little wind-up alarm clock that. It wasn't a wind-up, actually. I plugged it into it with my other equipment to set in front of me that had the digital numbers on it. It could tell me what time it was and everything. And I bought it and I set it up and I was playing and I got to that song and I played it. You know, the best part of the dream is that final fleeting scene before the morning flings us back to harsh reality. And just as I said that, the alarm went off. It was midnight. The alarm was just set for midnight, and I got to that line, and the alarm went off, and that was funny to me, actually. I guess I don't know if anybody else thought it was funny, but you know, at midnight at the Greenwood, you know, screw it, you know, nobody's paying attention anyway. They're doing whatever else they're doing. They used to have the dartboard up, you know, back in those days, so you'd be singing, and there'd be some old guy playing the darts while you're singing. And if, you know, you have to worry about getting darts stuck in the side of your face and stuff like that. But now they took the dartboard down, but I don't get to play at the Greenwood anymore because now all the serious guys play at the Greenwood. So. Play some of the guitar songs that got left behind Friday night for my live stream. If I had a dime for every time I've been stood up, turned down, traded in, thrown out by love, I'd be holding a fortune in my glove. Holding a fortune in my glove. Don't flatter yourself, thinking you're the first. I may be crying today, but by Saturday night I'll be on my way to recovery. If I had a dime for every time I've been stood up, turned down, traded in, thrown out by love, I'd be holding a fortune in my glove. Holding a fortune in my glove. The first time I fell, I cried and I cried. Thought I never would heal. Then I took another spin on the romance wheel and it toughened me. Then you came along. I admit I was stunned. This time I was prepared. Now I won't be torn apart by love affair, 'cause it toughened me. If I had a dime for every time I've been stood up, turned down, traded in, out my love, I'd be holding a fortune in my glove. Holding a fortune in my glove. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. If I had a dime for every time I've been stood up, turned down, traded in, thrown out by love, I'd be holding a fortune in my glove. Whoa, holding a fortune in my glove. Whoa, holding a fortune in my glove. Song I think I wrote back in like 80, probably 87 maybe, something 86 or 87, somewhere here. This one I know I wrote in 79. You know, if you got my song, my album Badass Storm 2020, which is, by the way, going out in the streaming services on February 1st, so you can stream it. You can buy it at Amazon.com. You can stream it on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, every place. But you'd hear this song that I wrote for my sister Mary's wedding 2 years ago when she called me 2 weeks before her wedding and said, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. Can you write a song, memorize it, and play it at my rehearsal dinner? And I did. You know, what kind of a machine does she think I am? But I did it. She goes, and don't just play that one you played for Susan's wedding. You know, for one thing, that was her first wedding. You know, it didn't take. You know, but at any rate, this is the one I wrote way back in 1979 for my little sister Susan's first wedding. Hal and Susan at the altar rail. Look at Hal shaking like a leaf. Look at Susan, shy and frail. Breathes a sigh of premature relief. Father John puts the good book down. Says, do you take this woman as your wife? Hal says, maybe, yes I do for now. But Susan, that's not altogether right. He said, I'd rather have your sister. You're too ugly for a guy like me. He said, I'd rather have your sister. While I've never kissed her, she's the only girl for me. Sobbing out loud at the altar rail, Suzanne looks her sister in the eye, quickly turning ivory pale. To her, it's just as much of a surprise. He said, I'd rather have your sister. You're too ugly for a guy like me. He said, I'd rather have your sister. While I've never kissed her, she's the only girl for me. Hal is crawling down the center aisle. I think he's had a bit too much to drink. He'll be single now for quite a while, just because he told her what he thinks. He said, I'd rather have your sister. You're too ugly for a guy like me. He said, I'd rather have your sister. While I've never kissed her, she's the only girl for me. So that's a little love song I wrote for my sister's wedding, and for whatever reason, the marriage didn't last. But But any rate, this one song I wrote in it had to have been 1986, 1987, and when Rick and Linda, we just played this 2 weeks ago for my Raucous Raucous Holiday Party show. But when Rick and Linda first showed up for one of my shows at that Grounds for Celebration in Beaverdale, and I saw them, I asked them, I said, "Is this the first date for you?" And they said, "No, we're married." And I said, "Well, let's just pretend it's your first date so I can play this song." I don't play this one too much anymore because it's kind of a disgusting song. I've done a lot of crazy things this year to try to heal and to cope with the fear of being back out on the prowl without a clue of where to start and what to do. I'm here across the table from another strange face. I just start hating this place. I'm living through a nightmare. When will I ever wake up? Living through a nightmare. It's just the same rotten luck that's chased me for the last 10 months. My nightmare. When will I wake up? My nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. I've had a lot. I saw her walking on McKinley Street. I thought, man, this is the woman for me. I said, let's tumble down the hill and grab a beer. When she said, sure, I felt the twinges of fear. She came along without the trace of a fight. I thought something ain't right. I'm living through a nightmare. When will I ever wake up? Living through a nightmare. It's just the same rotten luck that chased me for the last 10 months. My nightmare. When will I wake up? My nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. I've had enough. She's telling stories that I don't understand. Still I smile and I reach for her hand. It's rougher than the sole of a leather shoe, and not a word that I'm saying is true. Half of me is up to take advantage of her. That would be wicked, I'm sure. I'm living through a nightmare. When will I ever wake up? Living through a nightmare. It's just the same rotten luck that chased me for the last 10 months. My nightmare. When will I wake up? My nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. I've had enough. Oh, I'm living through a nightmare. When will I ever wake up? Living through a nightmare. It's just the same rotten luck that's chased me for the last 10 months. My nightmare. When will I wake up? My nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. I've had enough. You know, who knows? Maybe for Rick and Linda, you know, that's like, well, that's our song. You know, that's our song. But you know, I hardly ever play that one anymore. Here's another one I hardly ever play. One of the oldest songs. You know, it's not as old as Mother Blues, Don't You Love Your Son, but it's probably, of all the songs I play, probably the third oldest, I think. A song I wrote down in Nashville. I showed up down there with a demo. Didn't have any country songs on it. My uncle said, you got to have country songs in Nashville. So he sat down at his piano and I wrote. He told me, and my aunt, my cousins told me the story about some family down the street, and I turned it into a song. And you know, the rest of it is me then leaving Nashville and then going to New York and going to Boston, going to Buffalo, New York, then having to go back down to Nashville because it looked like the writing staff on Hee Haw was interested in the song. So I went down there, back down to Nashville and hung out on the Hee Haw set all morning one day while theoretically they were in there talking about my song. And ultimately they said no, which is basically the standard response for any of my intellectual property. But at any rate, this is my first country song. Pastor Sloan came to call today. was too late, we had gone our separate ways. On Sunday, I will sit alone and listen to the Reverend Sloan, 'cause my love and I have gone our separate ways. Where was he when our love began to die? Couldn't he see the tears that filled my eyes? On Sunday, when he spoke of love, I prayed so hard to God above, we wouldn't have to go our separate ways. The day we said goodbye to love, I prayed so hard to God above, we wouldn't have to go our separate ways. Pastor Sloan for the last time called today. He said goodbye, then he slowly turned away. And we both knew the lasting love was in the hands of God above. But my love and I have gone our separate ways. The day we said goodbye to love, I prayed so hard to God above, we wouldn't have to go our separate ways. Oh, oh, oh. The day we said goodbye to love, I prayed so hard to God above, we wouldn't have to go our separate ways. Our separate ways, 1975. So that truly is older than anybody here except for me. So, and in this one, this is 1986. You know, I always say, you know, that I wrote a lot of great songs in 1985 because that was the year of my last big breakup, you know, 1985. And so I keep telling my wife, you got to break up with me so I could start writing some good songs again. But it wasn't just 85. This lapsed over into, it was a long breakup. It lapsed over into, well into 1986. And this one's from late 1986. You can't say I made a pest of myself or that I came on too strong. I wasn't looking for anyone when you came along. Well, I was on the mend. I felt it wasn't time for me to fall in love again. I didn't choose you, girl. You just came right after me. I didn't choose you, girl. You found me at a time that I could fall for almost anyone. I didn't choose you, girl. Now I can't believe I'm standing here now trying to lure you back to me. How you came and went so quickly, I find so hard to see. I just keep asking why. You fought me for my love, and now you're shoving me aside. I didn't choose you, girl. You just came right after me. I didn't choose you, girl. You caught me at a time when I could fall for almost anyone. I didn't choose you, girl. I should have kept myself off the firing line, at least until I felt myself strong enough to handle love, to face it one more time. I didn't choose you, girl. You just came right after me. I didn't choose you, girl. You caught me at a time when I could fall for almost anyone. I didn't choose you, girl. Oh, I didn't choose you, girl. You just came right after me. I didn't choose you, girl. You caught me at a time when I could fall for almost anyone. I didn't choose you, girl. I always go from that one into this one. Same time in my life. Told you of my fractured past, springs of hope that wouldn't last. I told you of my one romantic dream, and I watched you slip within my grasp. Romance runs its course, then one day you ask, was any of it true? Every time it's mattered, I could find the magic words, words I've used on other loves before. Maybe it was just my favorite line, but I meant it every time. Yes, I meant it every time. Just because you're not the first, not the best, but not the worst, doesn't mean you haven't found my heart. So why can't I rely on past success to break new ground with you? Go with what works best when every word is true. Every time it's mattered, I could find the magic words, words I've used on other loves before. Maybe it was just my favorite line, but I meant it every time. Yes, I meant it every time. Every time it's mattered, I could find the magic words, words I've used on other loves before. Maybe it was just my favorite line, but I meant it every time. Yes, I meant it every time. I meant it every time. And another one I wrote during that time period, I got a bunch of them, all in the key of C, basically. I wrote about, on kind of the same subject. And this is the one, when I was playing at the Greenwood one night, these two women came walking in, and they had driven down from Marshalltown, which is like, I don't know, what is this? Maybe not a 90-minute drive, but it's a drive from Marshalltown. It's no good way to get there from here. And they'd seen a YouTube video that Pete Prasad had made of me playing this song at a political benefit show about 10 years ago, and you could hardly hear me on the YouTube. It's still up there somewhere. You could hardly hear me playing it, but these girls liked it so much that they drove all the way down from Marshalltown to hear me play. So I played this song, and then they heard it, and then they left and drove back to Marshalltown. But I don't think we'll ever be the friends we used to be, all because I took the leap to love. Things would have gone our way, we'd be standing right up on top today. Now you can't say I didn't try enough. It meant a whole lot more to me. Maybe that's why you don't see. Maybe that's why I'm the one who's coming undone. Why I still believe it meant a whole lot more to me. More than once I've been left out on the wrong side of a one-sided love affair and lived to tell the tale. Is that John Rothwell? You'd think I would soon slip in, toughen my outer skin. Now here I am, crying in my ale. Happy New Year to you. It meant a whole lot more to me. Maybe that's why you don't see. Maybe that's why I'm the one who's coming undone. Why I still believe it meant a whole lot more to me. Every call me in June or July and ask me how I am. And I may tell you that I'm seeing somebody new. But if you're having second thoughts, speak up. The ghost of your memory is haunting me. It meant a whole lot more to me. Maybe that's why you don't see. Maybe that's why I'm the one who's coming undone. Why I still believe it meant a whole lot more to me. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. It meant a whole lot more to me. Maybe that's why you don't see. Maybe that's why I'm the one who's coming undone. Why I still believe it meant a whole lot more to me. A whole lot more to me. It meant a whole lot more to me. So that one, like 1986, 1987. This one, also in the key of C, if you're keeping track. And I don't do a lot of guitar songs in the key of C, but these, the ones I played today, almost all are, you know, because they're at the very end of my list. But this one, also 1986, but it was kind of off the trail of, you know, feeling sorry for myself for the busted relationships and everything. And that summer, you know, I moved into this apartment. I moved into this apartment a year ago, and that summer I'd spent the summer coming home from work, sitting out by the pool, and just writing songs about things that were going on that I was observing around me. And I observed this bunch of young boys that reminded me a lot of young boys that I knew back in my day, which essentially myself. This song is basically autobiographical, but they're all included in a very primitive album that I made back then called Dicta from the Pool. Well, we met at 7 at the Pizza Hut, Denny, Paul, and me. It was prom night in the valley, but that's where we would be. My best friends, Paul and Denny, I think I'd come to hate, 'cause it was prom night and we were boys without dates. I said I could have had myself a girl that I had a nerve to try, but I couldn't think of any who weren't shackled to some guy. I knew my day would come, so I was satisfied to wait. On prom night, and we were boys without dates. Boys without dates, I wasn't really one of them, but it was Friday night again, and it was this or home alone. I kept my voices loud enough to make our presence known. We only ordered soft drinks, and at 10 we all phoned home. And when the place was closing, we were passed out on our place. On prom night, we were boys without dates. Boys without dates, I wasn't really one of them. But it was Friday night again, and it was this or Home Alone. I knew my day would come, so I've been satisfied to wait. On prom night, we were boys without dates. Yes, it was prom night, and we were boys without dates. Yes, it was prom night, and we were boys without dates. Boys without dates, a sad story of my growing up. So the next one, and you know what, as I told you at the beginning, what I'm doing to assure that I don't replay anything I played Friday night in my live stream, I'm going to the end of my list of songs. You know, I've got about 270, I think, that I play now, and play every week. I go through all of them in order. It takes me from Monday to Thursday to get through them all, and so basically I've been taking the last segment. I play them in segments, and for this show today, I've been taking the last segments of my practicing, and this is the last song in the guitar segment. This is the last when I've played this song on usually Thursday. This means that I've gotten through all my songs for the week. Now I'm probably going to go back and play it earlier songs now once I do this, because I've still got about 15 minutes left. But if you walk by my house or you're in my house and you hear me playing this song, you know John's made it through his 11 and a half hour repertoire. And that's one of my goals every week, is to get through all my songs. So anyway, that's all I get to say about this song. Yeah, that was me outside your window. I don't want what another man has. Guess it's time for a new obsession, but no idea what that might be. Step aside and let you pass. I don't want what another man has. So much has changed, but I'm not bitter. Life's too short for dwelling on that. Last night I saw you out together. Oh, that takes me back a year. But I don't mourn for the distant past. I don't want what another man has. Oh, I don't wait for the winds to change. Don't keep calling out my name. I don't treat it as a game. If it is, I just refuse to play. Hey, I step aside and let you pass. I don't want what another man has. I step aside and let you pass. I don't want what another man has. I step aside and let you pass. I don't want what another man has. I don't want what another man has. So, I'm going to go back now and play this song, the last song that I practiced before the set that I just did. This one, wrote it on Thanksgiving Day, 1978. Very dramatic time for me, because it was a time when I was possibly looking at prison time, you know. And it was one of the low points. You know, Baby Lester and the Buggy Bumpers had ended a year ago, a little over a year ago. I basically went through that whole following fall, winter, spring, working at Yonkers, selling stereos, trying to get back on the road. Never happened. And then I went to work for that record producer, and he went to prison. But anyway, on Thanksgiving Day of 1978, I wrote this song. I always liked this song. It's long, and I think it's flawed, so I don't play it too much. But I like it. So. Don't it seem like night and day, the man you were and what you are today? Scrapping for a love you say is worth a little pain. Will she love you if you drive yourself insane? Now you ask when. Will she make your life simple again? It will never be simple, my friend. It will never be simple again if you let her back in your head. While you trust her, it can never be simple again. You're better off hurting today while your pride is still unscathed. Break away if you can, so life can be simple again. Don't it seem a foolish turn to close the book and take up after her? Will anything be different if you take her back again? Or worth it if you trust her to the end? Now once again, you offer her trust and amends, but it won't make life simple, my friend. It will never be simple again if you let her back in your head. While you trust her, it can never be simple again. You're better off hurting today while your pride is still unscathed. Break away if you can, so life can be simple again. You can't be blind to the harm she's doing you. The deeper that you fall in love, the worse it will become. And you're right, she'll never see your patience and give in. It will never be simple again. It will never be simple again. So turn away and serve the pride you still possess today. In the process of withdrawal, there may be a little pain, but the option is to drive yourself insane. And only then will she make your life simple again. 'Cause she's only a nightmare, my friend. It will never be simple again if you let her back in your head. While you trust her, it can never be simple again. You're better off hurting today while your pride is still unscathed. Break away if you can, so life can be simple again. If you let her back in your head while you trust her, it can never be simple again. You're better off hurting today while your pride is still unscathed. Break away if you can, so life can be simple again. Life will be simple again. It will never be simple again. It will never be simple again if you let her back in your head. So, song I wrote Thanksgiving 1978. See if I can. Yeah, we've all learned the hard lessons, and you know what? We're still learning them. We're still learning them. So, you're never too old to get spanked, by life. That's true. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening today. Thank you everybody who came up for a little bit Friday night. I a lot of people for various times, not for long periods of times. Randy got on late at night. He stayed till very late in the night, and then Alex out in California, I think he turned his computer on and just left it on, and every once in a while I'd hear from him and everything, and I had him right up until the time that I had to change reels, you know, at what was it, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then after that I pretty much lost everybody and I went another hour and a half, and then picked up Terry from England at about a half hour left to go, so I was able to play for Terry, and then finally I just ran out of gas completely, and I've been playing for 9 hours, so that was enough. But thank you, Linda. Thank you, John, and everybody else who's listening and who has listened and who will listen to this in the future. But probably maybe next week I'll do the same thing. I'll play some more of the songs that didn't make it on to the New Year's Eve live stream. But like my opening song that I started with, you'll pretty much always hear this one, because this is the one I always close with. It's off my new CD, Mile Offshore, which if you don't have one, you want to private message me with the mailing address, I'll send you a copy. Or now it's on the streaming services, so you can stream it. You can buy it from Amazon Prime. You can buy it, I guess, any way you buy music, you can get it. And then on February 1st, I'm going to have last year's CD, Badass Storm 2020, is going to be on as well. And this is off Badass Storm 2020. So. Thank you, Nancy. Happy New Year. I've been doing this for all of my life. It's the one thing I know. And it's brought me to a few hidden corners of the globe. Now I'm sailing into that stage in life. Started taking it slow, but I still dream the dream. Doubt I'll ever let it go. I will play where I can play, some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a solitary man. All I'm asking is to stand here if you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hand. On a little bench on 2nd and Grand sits a man with a horn. He's been playing there since almost a year I was born. And it used to be a joke with my friend, I would wind up like him. Now I see him and I realize how happy he's been. I'm lucky too. I will play where I can play, some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a complicated man. All I'm asking is to stand here if you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hands. Not the best thing for my health. I'm not acquiring great wealth, but I go on because I owe it to myself. I'm not reaching for the stars. Things will stay the way they are, but I keep plugging, so I may never get that far. I will play where I can play, some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a complicated man. All I'm asking is to stand here if you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hands, I will play where I can play, some dark corner or a stage. I've got something for whatever you can pay. I'm not a complicated man. All I'm asking is to stand here if you let me have an hour with this Martin in my hands. With this Martin in my hands. Thank you very much. Have a nice rest of the week. Happy New Year to everybody.